Is there anything below an F? I think maybe he should drop out. No, I mean, he's worse than Carter on foreign policy, worse than Clinton on domestic policy. But other than that, he's fine. I mean, each president is living off the foreign policy of his predecessor. So Bush had to live with Clinton's foreign policy. When did 9/11 happen? We are still living off the successes of Bush's war on terror right now. It's not just because America has a new president that suddenly all arrangements throughout the world and other leaders change. It took President Bush being in office for France, Germany, Canada, well, Australia continued with its conservative leader, but all of them replaced anti-American leaders with very pro-America and very pro-Bush leaders. It takes a while for that to play out for foreign policy. So as a consequence, as I say, for the first year you're living off your predecessor's policies. Right now, we're still all feeling pretty safe and not really thinking much about terrorism because we're living off the success of Bush's war on terror. But that is coming to an end. And every place Obama goes, he's doing exactly the wrong thing. He's just, I mean, it's like he has a gasoline can. He's taking across the world and leaving little bits of gasoline all over. You don't know where the match is going to ignite, but everything he does, he is doing wrong. I mean, just take one small example. Well, it's not small, it's big. We're all hoping Obama will decide whether or not to send more troops to Afghanistan before he's out of office. Afghanistan was the war he claimed during the campaign was the war of necessity. That's the one liberals were champing at the bit to fight. They only did that, of course, because they had to pretend they didn't want to surrender immediately after 9/11, and we happened to go to war with Afghanistan before Iraq. But to use one of liberals' favorites, cliches, Iraq didn't attack us on 9/11. Iraq didn't attack us on 9/11. Afghanistan didn't attack us on 9/11 either. How you distinguish those two is we went to war first with Afghanistan. Liberals had to pretend to support it. Then Iraq came along, and they didn't have to pretend to support that one. So they create this massive distinction between the two countries. The main distinction between the two countries is that Iraq was ripe for regime change. Afghanistan is not. I mean, both countries, to say in the ways they're similar and why we should respond, maybe I should have started with that. Both of them supported terrorists. Both of them supported the people who attacked us on 9/11. Yes, okay, fine. Osama bin Laden happened to have decamped recently in Afghanistan, but, he was in the Sudan before that. I mean, he's just a nomad wandering around there. He goes to the Taliban and says, hey, I have an idea. Let's attack the United States. The Taliban is saying, oh, really? Do we have to? So, it wasn't the Taliban that hit us either, but yet liberals pretended to be in favor of that war. The difference is the main difference in the two countries in terms of regime change. Iraq, like Iran, has an educated populace, has a pro-Western populace, has a very young populace being oppressed by crazy leaders at the top. Ahmadinejad in Iran and formerly Hussein in Iraq. That makes it a perfect place for regime change. You get rid of the crazy leader. I mean, it's a funny thing about a lot of these Muslim countries. Either the people are sane and their leader is crazy, or the leader is crazy and the people are sane. So Iraq and Iran are basically sane people with crazy leaders. Beautiful for regime change. Great place to have the crazy jihadists streaming across the border to fight America. Afghanistan, another difference is America's military power we don't have an advantage in Afghanistan. It's mountainous. They're living in caves. They are tribal. Our air power is basically useless, and our air power kills. It crushes the rest of the world. I think the Democratic Party doesn't have much of a short-term, well, they're all in power now, so they have that. But the history of the world since I've been alive is Republicans come in, they're in office for 8 years, and then Americans get tired and they have short-term memories, and they think to themselves, what was it we didn't like about the Democrats? Let's try this Democrat. And then they try the Democrat, and they remember what it is they didn't like about Democrats. And that's the phase we're in right now. So whether it's in the 2010 elections, as it was with Clinton, or if it's in the 2012 presidential election, as it was with Carter, I think we're going to be having Democrats will have their power to socialize the world and surrender to the rest of the world taken under control soon.